Sup, pups? Joey G in the place to be. It's the 5 Point joint. What's going on? Yes, I'm wearing a Celtics jersey today. Well, people probably saying you got all this Philly stuff in the back and you missed the Philly. Well, I like the colors for one, and I like Rajon Rondo. He's one of my favorite players of all time. You know what I mean? I've had this jersey since, oh my gosh, since the Celtics won in '08. When they won in 07-08, when they beat the Lakers in 7. I've had this jersey since. I kept it nice. I've never messed it up. It's one of my only jerseys that you don't see all my old good jerseys, I had burn holes and everything, and messed them up. But these, I still got jerseys I keep nice, and this is one of them, one of my favorite jerseys. And yeah, I still wear it. I do not like the Celtics. Now, I was in line today at Wawa, and I was nice to some lady, and she looks at me, and she goes, "Ew." And I didn't know, in the beginning, I'm half asleep, in the morning, getting my coffee, and the lady goes, "Ew, I'm a Sixers fan." And I was like, "So am I." I was like, "I just like the color." You know what I'm saying? I'm a Sixers fan, too. The Sixers are my squad. I don't like the Celtics, but I like Rondo, and I like the color. It's hot. The color's hot. Anyway, talking about basketball, how about this? No one wants to play in LA with the Lakers. LeBron must be hell to play with. He must be, because LeBron called Clay, who ended up with Dallas. Clay didn't want to go there. LeBron called him personally and said, "Why don't you come here and play with me and AD?" You know what I mean? And my son, by the way, who sucks. Hey, he's better than me, little Bronny. I give him props for that. But, the guy sucks. Literally, rumors that you hear through SportsCenter, through all kinds of things. They say that the kid is he should have stayed in college at least another year or 2 more years. You know what I mean? And he just sucks. No one wants to go play there. No one. Lakers tried to get Paul George. They tried to pursue for Paul George, who lives in L.A., who wanted to basically stay in southern Los Angeles. Paul George is from there. He lives there. I hear once you live in Cali, and at least if you're from there, you don't like living there. You don't want to leave there. Now, I do have a cousin, 2 cousins that lived there and came back, but that's different. They're from Philadelphia. I hear if you live there and you're there your whole life, you don't really want to leave. You know what I mean? It's pretty nice out there. So, I don't know. Something in my mouth. But, yeah, no one wants to play with LeBron and the Lakers. No one. And I don't think it's J.J. Redick. I just think it's no one wants to play with LeBron. It ain't the Lakers organization, because they have a great organization. No one wants to play with LeBron. But anyway, Sixers, like I always say, we're looking all right for next year. We'll see what happens. How about baseball? Phillies, we lost to the Athletics last night, the Oakland A's. But that's okay, because before that, we swept the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are not doing nothing. Right now, the Dodgers are 56-36. The Phillies are the best team in baseball at 61-33. We're 8.5 games up on the Braves. The Braves are 52-41. The Mets are in 3rd place, and we're 12.5 games up on them. The Mets are 48-45. You got the Brewers in the Central, 54-41. I'm not worried about the Brewers. The Cardinals behind them at 48-45. The Pirates, 45-48. The Pirates, like the Phillies, I love the Phillies. The Pirates are my second team. You know what I mean? And they're 45-48. They could, that division's not that bad. You know what I mean? They're only friggin' 6.5 games out of first place. The Brewers are in first place at 54-41. And you got the Dodgers, who are 56-36, who we just swept, who the Phillies just swept. Behind them, the D-backs, who unfortunately beat us last year. You know what I mean? They're 48-47. And behind them, that division is close. Behind them, the Padres, 49-47. And then you got the Giants, who are 46-49. So that whole division, besides the Dodgers, who have a nice 9-game lead on every team, the Dodgers do in that division. But we just swept the Dodgers. I'm not worried about the Dodgers. The only team that scares me a little bit are the Atlanta Braves. I'm not talking about the AL. The AL, the Orioles playing great. Them and the Yankees. The Orioles 57-37. The Yanks are 57-39. They're 1 game out of first place. It's touch and go with them. The Guardians / always be the Cleveland Indians to me. You know what I mean? Second best record in baseball besides the Phillies, 57-36. They're, right now that's the best team in the American League. Phillies best team in the National League. And behind the Guardians, you got the 20s at 43-41 or 53-41. Still, the Guardians got a nice lead on them. And then you got the Mariners at 52-44 in the West with the Astros, who will end up winning that division at 50-44. The Astros were like 9 games under 500 3 weeks ago, and they're already starting to come back. And if any team scares me in the American League, it's the Houston Astros. It's not the Orioles. It's not the Yankees. It's not the Guardians. You know what I mean? It's the Astros. The defending champion Rangers. They're 50. They're 44-50. They're 9 games out of first place. They could still creep up. I'm not worried about them. The only team I fear in the American League are the Houston Astros. Other than that, you know what I mean? If it's Philly and Houston again, so be it. But I think the Phillies got it all this year. And I do think, if anything, I think the Orioles or Yankees could beat Houston. But when Houston gets hot and they get them bats swinging, they get that pitching going, look out for the Houston Astros. But the Philadelphia Phillies will be all right. We got the Athletics, and then we got the All-Star break. Look at how many All-Stars we got in this game Tuesday. It's historic. Historic. Home run derby and all that shit Monday. Going to be a fun, looks like a long weekend. I wish it was a long weekend. Saturday's already halfway going. My gosh. But baseball, we looking good. Best record in baseball, 61-33, baby. You know what I mean? We're 8 up. We're out. What are we? 9.5 games up on the Braves. The Braves are 52-41. So, we're looking all right. We are looking all right. Okay, SmackDown last night. It was pretty good. I like SmackDown last night. The "We Want Roman" chants all over last night in Worcester, Massachusetts. We want Roman. We want Roman. I don't think Roman's coming back for a while. I just don't think it. I think he's taken off for a while. Remember, he was champion all them days for over 1,000-something days. He's taken off for a little while. SmackDown good last night, though. As you see what they're doing with Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. They had Cody, get rolled on by the Bloodline and Solo and them. And Solo every week looking like the gang leader. And, hey, I like the new Bloodline. As heels, they're badass heels. Solo, he's kind of newer. It would have been kind of different if, say, Jimmy Uso or even Jey Uso. If Jey Uso would have stayed. But I guess they see the upswing in Solo. You know what I mean? And they got Solo sitting there in the middle like the badass like that. And then you got Tomahawk, and the werewolf, my guy, my favorite guy in the whole thing, Jacob Fatu. He's the friggin' man with his braids and his crazy ass looks. He gets all crazy looking. I love Jacob Fatu. But as they were rolling on Randy Orton, they started beating the shit out of Randy Orton. They tied Cody up in the ropes like this, and they were down on the floor just pummeling Randy Orton, all of them. Solo was like, watch. They had Tomahawk, Jacob Fatu slamming Randy through the table. Jacob Fatu coming off the top ropes, onto the table, onto Randy. Ba-boom! You know what I'm saying? Randy, and you can see Cody like, stop it. I'll take it. Little thing, saying I'll take it, saying he'll take it for Randy. Because you know what? Cody knows in the back of his head, Randy isn't going to forget this. Storyline-wise, we all know how Randy Orton is. So I guess because now also storyline-wise, kayfabe-wise, for you people that don't know wrestling, kayfabe is that you still keep it real. So right now, the kayfabe reason that Randy Orton's going to be off TV for the next 2-3 weeks is because he got hurt by the Bloodline. And, basically helping Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes was getting rolled on. And Randy Orton came out to help, and Randy Orton got rolled on. You hear me? Freaking looks like my Pittsburgh accent coming out. Anyway, what do you call it? They rolled on Cody, but they saw, Randy, and it's building the seeds, And the match isn't happening in SummerSlam because it's Cody versus Solo for the WWE title at SummerSlam. So I guess we're going to get Cody and Randy at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes against Randy Orton for the WWE title at WrestleMania. That's going to be fat. Does Randy win the Royal Rumble? John Cena's doing his Royal Rumble return He said it's his last Royal Rumble. 2025 is the retirement tour of John Cena. So there's a lot of questions, and I got to do a whole show, because I'm going to do a whole show on that in itself, how to book John Cena's retirement. There's somebody, a close friend of mine, I want to talk that over with before I do that show. So we'll leave that at that, you know what I mean, about Cena. But I definitely think Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton is definitely happening at WrestleMania. No doubt about that. Other stuff last night, LA Knight came out with a book, said he wants the contract. Him and LA Knight will sign the contract for the U.S. title at SummerSlam. LA Knight will beat Logan Paul at SummerSlam. I like Logan Paul. He's all right. I mean, I don't like how he talks about Christians, because I'm a Christian, but whatever. The guy can wrestle in the ring. He's a good promo. I never heard him say something malicious about Christian people. So, I mean, people have told me, but that's just gossip shit. You know what I mean? But, yeah, LA Knight and Logan Paul at SummerSlam for the United States title in Cleveland. And what else happened on SmackDown last night? Andrade, as you all know, Andrade out there talking, because he was the highlight of the men's Money in the Bank at Money in the Bank last Saturday night. And Carmelo Hayes came up. You know, Carmelo never misses. Like, I do the 5-point joint. Carmelo never misses. And he came out and was talking shit on Andrade. And they were like, what's next for you, Andrade? What's next for you? And then, you know, Andrade can't speak real great English. He's a great wrestler, though. And was like, he's next. So it would be Andrade and Carmelo probably at SummerSlam. And, yeah, looked all right. You know what I mean? SmackDown, pretty good show last night. I'm looking forward to Cody and Randy. I mean, Randy Orton's my favorite wrestler currently. And when he retires, he'll go down maybe as my all-time favorite. You know what I mean? He might take Hot Rod and HBK spot. I don't know. You know what I mean? That's a story for a different day. You know what I mean? I was just watching the Lex Luger thing, too, before I came out here. The Lex Luger A&E biography, superstar biographies. Yo, Lex Luger now in a wheelchair. You know what I mean? And Miss Elizabeth. You know, the Macho Man's old Miss Elizabeth. Elizabeth died in his house. And no, I don't think there was no foul play there. I think she just took, like, the story, the coroner's report, everything's true. You know, she took some pills and drank some wine, and she took too many pills with wine, you know, and then added up, and she stopped breathing, and then she died. You know, Luger, the phone calls on YouTube. Lex Luger calls, you know, emergency for Miss Elizabeth. It's on YouTube, you know. How Elizabeth ended up with Lex Luger is beyond me. And how that didn't drive Randy Savage insane, even though he had Gorgeous George at that time, going back to the late 90s. You know what I mean? When Lex Luger and Liz first hooked up, Liz died in May of 2003 in Lex Luger's house. So, you know what I mean? But that's crazy, though. Luger, man, Luger could have been the man with that body. That's what a wrestler, like they say that they have Randy Orton come out and you hear JBL or Wade Barrett or Booker T on the, you know, on commentary and say about Randy Orton. That's what a pro wrestler, sports entertainer should look like from the head down. Same thing with Lex Luger. Lex Luger was the total package. He just didn't have the gift of gab. He could talk in certain ways. He just didn't have that charisma. Like they brought him to the WWE. He was Mr. USA. They gave him a fucking friggin' bus. Sorry. They gave him a friggin' bus in 93. The Lex Express. Drove all across America with it. You know what I mean? Even up in Canada a little bit. Up to Montreal. Went all the way up in that. Still doing his thing. And he just couldn't get over it because he couldn't connect like Hulk Hogan could connect with the fans. You know? And I don't know what Vince McMahon was thinking. People say Vince McMahon was a genius. Well, we certainly know he ain't that much of a genius if he left all them texts out about him and Brock Lesnar shitting on women. But, you know what I mean, he can't be that much of a genius, too, thinking, you know, hey, Lex Luger he did have the body. He probably had a nicer body than Hogan. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, muscle-wise, he did. You know, no gay shit, but he did. And Luger couldn't talk like Hogan. Hogan could get everybody into the building. Brother, when the Hulkamaniacs come and I put somebody, but I slam that big giant over my... He just didn't have it. Luger would just talk kind of slow and methodic. And even if he would get loud, he just wouldn't... He didn't have that natural charisma. You know what I mean? About him. But hey, Luger in his own right is still one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. I love Lex Luger It's best Lex Luger when he's a heel, when he's just a straight dick. You know what I mean? I met him one time. I met Lex Luger at the Civic Center here in Philadelphia in '91, right before he left to go to WWF. It was in the late night. It was like the end of the summer of '91, like September. It was a house show. He was fighting Barry Windham. And he just became the WCW. And he shook my hand and everything. But then there were the ring rats, you know, the ring rats, the chicks that bang all the wrestlers that hang around. And we were outside having a cigarette. And the chick was like, oh, Lex, his real name's Larry Perfola. She was like, Larry's a dick. He's a dick. I was like, and everybody, a lot of people I know that met Lex said, oh, he's a dick. He's an asshole. Hey, Lex was always, the one time I met him, he shook my hand, said, what's up, bud? Shook my hand and gave me a pound. You know what I mean? And gave my boy David, shook his hand and gave him a pound. So, whatever. But he's in a wheelchair now. He's a follower of Jesus Christ. So, hey, I'm all for you, Lex. That's what's up, pal. And about to wrap things up here with Joey G. Also, good show to watch. Godfather of Harlem. I've been watching it with my boy Dougie. Good show. It's about the families in New York, you know what I mean, the mafia. As you know, the 5 families of New York. The Genovese, the Colombos, the Lucchese's, the Gambinos, and the Bonanos. You know what I mean? And, of course, we know the Chin runs the Genovese. You know, he's in it. He plays a lot of it's fiction. Because, I wasn't there, but I pretty much know much about LCN, that they didn't sell dope like that. I know they did. I know Carmine Galante had a big thing with that, in the French Connection. And I know they did. And I know Joe Bonanno and the Bonanno family has always been known for their drug trafficking. Every family deals with drugs. If you don't think that, it's just not talked about because drugs carry heavy time. It's silly sometimes the mafia with things like that. We tolerate certain things, but drugs, because they did deal in drugs before that. Remember, the founder of the mafia, Lucky Luciano, Charlie Luciano. He was a heroin trafficker. You know what I mean? And he was the founder, of La Costa La Nostra. The American version, he set it all up. You know what I mean? He had Joe the Boss Masseria and Salvatore Maranzano whacked. So, and so drugs were all right until 57, but still people turned a blind eye. You know what I mean? Hey, I'll say this, though. As much as I know about Nicky Scarfo, and I'm from Philadelphia, Nicky Scarfo didn't deal in drugs in any way. And if he did have 1 or 2 underlings that did deal in drugs, he didn't want to know nothing about it. Just give me my cut. So people do talk bad about Nicky, you know what I mean? And he was a ruthless killer, and his sister calls him Hitler, you know what I mean? Not because he's racist or not because he was a psychopathic, logical killer. He was the boss of the Philly mob in the 80s when I was a little kid. You know what I mean? But after Angelo Bruno got shot and after Phil Testa got blown up, the Chicken Man got blown up, what's his name became boss? Nicky Scarfo. The Chin made Nicky Scarfo boss. And he was the boss all through the 80s until, until he got locked up and his fucking nephew, my uncle made me do it. Phil Leonetti, big crybaby, rat bastard. Just like Sammy the Bull, another rat bastard. Can't do it. Nobody has no experience. I feel like Tony Soprano, but for real. Nobody has no room. If you want to live that life, you got to think, hey, you have no room for the penal experience. Seriously. They just, they're so scared of jail. And I don't like jail either. But some people are just like, you take that life, you take that oath, there's a 50-50 chance you're going to go to jail. You're going to go to the can. So deal with it. But this is Joey G. I'll talk about that more, you know what I mean, more in the mafia. The Chin is like my favorite gangster, but I like a lot more. But as I was saying, Nicky Scarfo made a ton of money and didn't deal in drugs. Him or anybody in his top front crew. So I respect that about Nicky. Because like they say, drugs is dirty. This is Joey G. Hope you all enjoyed Gana's Corner today. I'm out. Have a nice Saturday. This is Joey G. Like I said again, always on his cue, always here to be. It's Joey G in the place to be. The 5-point joint. I'm still having my 5-point joints, the 5-point questions. It's going to be hot. It's Joey G. Out.